Hello, Hand for H Forever. I just got done watching your video, "The Big Problem with Atheism," and was moved to respond. Yeah, your question there is how would how do where do basically boils down to where do atheists get their morals from, right? Can an atheist really say that something is objectively right or objectively wrong, or are we making this up as we go along, or what is going on here, right? And I think this is a very good question to ask because I think it's really is the source of a lot of prejudice against atheists. I mean, if somebody is an atheist, the first thing that flashes into people's minds are, oh, he doesn't believe in God, so obviously he has no firm moral basis or is otherwise suspect. And it's a valid question asking, where do atheists really get their morals from? And so I'll try to give you a little bit of an answer there. So you frame your question in terms of objective versus subjective, and that for example, Islam can give you objectively true morals, whereas atheists only have subjective morals. And I it's news, but there actually is not. There's not just two categories here, not just objective and subjective. There's actually a third category, which is a little known category, but it's called intersubjective. Intersubjective. Just to let you know that I'm not making this up, let me show you a picture of a book from one of my favorite philosophers. The title of it is there you go, Subjective, Intersubjective, and Objective. And so what is this? What is this intersubjectivity that we're speaking of here, right? So yes, it's very true. Atheism can not give you any statement and say this statement is objectively true forever. Uh, no, I mean, yes, clearly this can't be. But this doesn't mean that atheist morals are only subjective either, right? There's a third category. Atheist morals are what's called intersubjective. Now, what is this intersubjective? Let me approach it like this. I've got a lot of props today, so here's another prop. This is our favorite thing, right? Dollar bills, and it's just a $1 bill. But let's pretend like it's a $100 bill. I'm not that rich, but let's pretend like I actually have a $100 bill here. So, what is the objective value of this dollar bill, this $100 bill, right? It cost the U.S. government about half a cent to make this dollar bill. Objectively, it's just a piece of paper, right? So, where does this $100 worth of value come from? It's intersubjective value. What that means is, we've all come together and agreed, shopkeepers across the land have agreed to treat these pieces of paper as if they actually had some sort of value, right? Objectively, there's nothing there, but it's not just subjective value either, because I can actually take this in and buy an MP3 player or buy food or other stuff, right? It's not just fake value. It's real value, but it's not value because of it's inherently worth anything. It's just value because we've all agreed to give it value. So you say you frame your question in terms of like can we all make up our own morals, and that's clearly also not true. But there's a third option. It's not just we accept the morals that some book or some god tells us, or we have no morals at all, right? There's a third option, and it's intersubjective morals. So like just like I can't take a crayon and draw on a piece of paper and make my own dollar bill. That's not going to work. Same thing. I can't just decide one day that any old thing that I want to do is a good thing to do and just do it. Right? That doesn't work either. So where do these morals come from? How does this work in really in terms of a moral setting? Well, let's think about a moral principle which no God ever gave us this moral principle. I think the issue of slavery is a very good example of this. We have no book from antiquity, none of the Greek philosophers, none of the Christian writings, no Islamic writing that comes to us from antiquity says that slavery is evil. Now, all of them, every single one of these guys, the Greeks, the Christians, the Romans, everybody says treat your slaves very well. don't mistreat your slaves. Give them, proper food, proper clothing, all this kind of stuff. But notice, listen very carefully there. If you say treat your slaves well, that presupposes that it's okay to have a slave. And I know that slavery as was practiced in Islamic countries was way better than slavery that was practiced in America. And I'm very happy for that. But it's like, today, there's not a single country on this planet that allows slavery, even the kind of slavery that's described in the Quran. Even that kind of slavery is outlawed. Why is this? Because it's evil for one human being to own another human being. Everybody realizes this now. Now, where did this come from? No God told us that it was wrong for one human being to own another human being. Right? We just got together. We figured that one out just the same way as we figured out how to make paper money. Right? We all got together and agreed that it was a good idea. Now, you know, at this point, the typical example that's brought up, is the Nazis, right? And yes, it's a clear warning. The Nazis were democratically elected. I actually was an exchange student to Germany in the '80s, and the first time I ever met a grandma or a grandpa, the first thing they would say to me is, we had no idea that Hitler was so bad, and I don't buy it. They knew exactly what was going on, and yes, it's very possible that in a you know in a democratically elected society, or if we all get together and agree something, we would agree on the wrong thing. And yes, it's a clear warning. Now, where did the Nazis go wrong, though? The Nazis went wrong in that they were too doctrinaire. They were too rigid. They didn't incorporate enough viewpoints. They didn't have enough empathy. They were just not open to new truth. And the Nazis are not just an example of how democracy can go bad. The Nazis are also an example of how you can go bad by being too doctrinaire and not being open enough to incorporate viewpoints from other religions, viewpoints from other cultures, viewpoints from other races. Uh, they're a clear warning for everybody, not just for people, not just for atheists, not just for people who believe in intersubjective morality. So that's about all we can say about that. It's like, yes, sometimes we make mistakes. We're all trying to do the best we can, and we're all trying to live righteous lives. We're all trying to, be good people, even if we're atheists, even if we're Muslims, even if we're Christians. We're all just doing the best we can, really. You know, and so I actually have a question for you, if you don't mind, and I hope you don't think this question is blasphemous or disrespectful or anything. I have a lot of respect for the Islamic religion. I have a lot of respect for you and for what you're doing. So please take it in that spirit. So the question is this: do Muslims believe that something is evil because Allah says it's evil, or do they believe something is evil and that's why Allah said that it was evil? So, for example, another one of your videos is incest. Is incest wrong for the only reason that incest is wrong is because Allah said it was wrong? Or incest is just wrong, and that's why, Allah told us that incest was wrong? I'd be very interested in hearing your answer to that question. And yeah, so let me underscore again. I really appreciate what you're trying to do with your video series, and I really will enjoy dialoguing with you. Yeah, peace and love.